गुड मॉर्निंग, वेलकम टू वीलर्न। वीलर्न में आपका स्वागत है। We would be discussing execution strategy in media planning, in advertising management and sales promotion, and we're covering session 7. Topics to be covered are advertising objectives, execution of advertising, elements of advertising execution, media objectives, evaluation of advertising campaigns, media options, media selection and space buying, the role of media planner, new media and direct marketing, focus on audience tracking and changing media choices, and contemporary advertising. When we talk about advertising objectives, the very first objective of advertising is increasing brand awareness. So increasing brand awareness, there are situations when even a high brand selling, they have a poor brand awareness, and it happens especially with an FMCG product, because the buyer, the user is so habitual a buyer, he does not have great awareness of the distinctive feature of the brand. Another is enhancing brand image. Even a successful brand, they can also come under severe pressure from either the new brand which is entering into, or another old brand which is introducing new features. Introduce new features of brand improved version. So there are times in a competitive scenario, every producer is required to continuously work to increment or improve his product quality just in order to stay ahead in the market. So that is the reason why advertising is done. Another reason why advertising is done is to increase sales. So advertising is only one of the components of the entire marketing mix, and in itself it cannot control the entire sale of a product, but it also plays a very huge role in pushing the sales. Increase in profits. Increase in profits जो है वो increase in sales से different है, और it is more so in case of FMCG. जब हम बात करते हैं the top line, it may be growing due to many promotional, the top line products, but there are very high price wars which are going in the market. तो क्या होता है कि बॉटम लाइन जो प्रोडक्ट हैं उनका मार्जिन्स जो है वो श्रिंक होने लगता है, तो प्रॉफिट्स को इंक्रीज करने के लिए एडवर्टाइजिंग बहुत ज़रूरी हो जाती है. अनदर इज इंक्रीजिंग द मार्केट शेयर. ईच ब्रांड इन द सेम प्रोडक्ट क्लास और प्राइस, दे सेल ओनली टू सम यूजर्स. तो हर मार्केट प्राइस को, हर सेगमेंट को केटर करने के लिए एडवर्टाइजमेंट एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टूल बन जाता है. In order to expand the geographical market, so what happens, basic nature of the product क्या होता है कि they sell and they do well in one area or one geographical location and not in the other. So that our product gains a market share in other geographies, it is very important that it is advertised very extensively. कॉर्पोरेट इमेज बनाने के लिए भी कॉर्पोरेट कैंपेनिंग करी जाती है. देयर आर सर्टेन डैमेज कंट्रोल फैक्टर्स which is being held by the advertising, right? बेस्ट प्रोफेशनल्स को हायर करने के लिए सो दैट द कंपनीज गुडविल इंक्रीजेस, तो भी एडवर्टाइजिंग करी जाती है. एंड लास्टली अनाउंसिंग न्यू आउटलेट्स, राइट. when we say execution of advertising, so it is an age-old debate whether there is a need for an advertising or not. सबसे पहले तो यही बात आ जाती है कि most of the thinkers think advertising is a total waste of time and money. But the purpose and function of advertising is very, very fundamental because it is an inalienable part of any social or economic activity. Advertising will be there as long as any commercial transaction is there. जब तक होगी और जब से commercial transactions हैं तब तक advertising वहीं से हमें flow कर रही है. Now there are reasons why advertising needs to be done. पहला reason है कि हम target audience को we inform them about the attributes, the benefits of the product, which pushes them to buy a product. The second is why advertising is done, because it's very economical way of getting all the information out in the market. Very, very economical way. The third is advertising is perceived as a part of right to freedom of speech. Here the manufacturer, the producer, he has the fundamental right to inform the public about what his offerings are. Advertising also stimulates sales. It has flown from the objectives of advertising. Just to increase the sales, the market share will increase in production. It is very important that advertising plays a role. Last is, it is a very important part in the marketing mix. Without advertisement, the product could not be made available to the final consumer, because only then the consumer will know that the product is available. When we talk about elements of advertising execution, so delivery of the selected advertising concept, they have two aspects. First one is the creative and another is the media execution, right? But they are the two important things, creative and the media execution. But there are other factors, there are other elements which we will be discussing also. So the first, when we say creative execution, right? How and why it has become a very important role. An advertising agency, rather than copywriters who decide to express it, advertising agency or advertising is a very intuitive process which could hardly be structured or format. कोई भी पर्टिकुलर और सेट बेस्ड फॉर्मेट नहीं होता. कॉपी राइटिंग में आप देखेंगे तो एक फॉर्मेटिंग हम फॉलो करते हैं, एक स्ट्रक्चर फॉलो करते हैं. बट एडवर्टाइजिंग इट डज नॉट हैव एनी स्ट्रक्चर, बट देर आर सम बेसिक रूल्स. A copy should be by and large honest, जो भी हम बना रहे. It should avoid exaggeration that could actually hurt the brand. So exaggerations को जो है वो avoid करना चाहिए, right? दूसरा है media execution. तो कितना ही effective campaign होता है, it is very difficult to measure the effectiveness of the campaign. Or more so in case of India, where there are stark differences among the target population in terms of their language or religion, culture or daily habit. When we talk about India, they have large stride in documenting the reach. So to be successful, here in this case, an advertiser needs a nuanced information on each target segment before an optimum media plan can be executed. Due to the remoteness of rural areas and huge illiteracy, right, because they do not necessarily read anything, so print media is out of their reach. There are different copy styles which are used to reach different target segment at various different levels, right? Another is finding the target audience. Now, finding the target audience means in a country where market is still new, there is a severe lack of reliable data. Considering the huge differences in aspirations or culture, social demands, as far as India is concerned, a nuanced profiling of target population is essentially very important for an optimum media selection. There is also a very big mismatch between information arrived at by the advertising agency from its own research and experience on one hand, and the data which is made available by the external organizations. As far as the industrial or technical product or capital good appliances, anything that needs spare parts या फिर after sale services या replacement चाहिए, a very rich nature of customers profile is the company's own file from the client services needed, right? Another is sales geography. So although there are products which may be sold over a wide area of the country, there are sales which are never uniform in the entire territory. So advertising may be needed in areas of thin sales to increase it, or in areas where sales is reliable but can be coaxed to do better, right? So there are local products which do not need expensive press or television advertising. Hoardings of free standing insert in newspapers or magazine posters in local shops, they are excellent media for these kind of products. They are usually very cheap and do a far better focused delivery of the message, right? Another is timing. Advertising is a very expensive business. So at which time of the year a campaign is to be launched and at what frequency and for how long is a major consideration in the media schedule, right? So consumer use cycles besides their time and duration. For instance, movie and restaurants are advertised Friday to Sunday when people have time for entertainment. There are properties which are heavily advertised on weekends when people they have the time to read carefully to find what they are basically looking for. Another is the duration. For how long should a duration run, that becomes very, very important. When we talk about evaluation of advertising campaigns, so a meaningful evaluation of campaign is possible only when scientific and reliable tools are available and the objective of the campaign has been defined very clearly, right? So the first one is when there is a continuous analysis of the past advertisement. Second is the survey of the buyer behavior and consumer preferences before and after the campaign is done by many agencies handling FMCG. Another is pre-testing. So this is recommended in case of very expensive or nationwide campaign. Alright, and changes and improvements are done according to the feedbacks received. Another is post-testing, which is done for reach and impact of the campaign. So ideally, pre-testing research is diagnostic and is done to evaluate noticeability, recognition, recall, comprehension, and behavior changes if any, but post-release testing should be done for the full picture. Another is retail scanner is a tool now available to most marketing team. Here what happens, Supermarkets and many other retail outlets, they use electronic scanners which read the complete product information on the barcode. A research team may track sales among thousands of buyers through a few selected customers by giving them detailed questionnaire to be filled up and rewarding them with small discounts on the next purchase. Thus, by issuing ID cards or sales of particular products and brand can be measured quite accurately and assessed for how far the campaign has worked.